Well, power to the people.
Fuck you.
Well, I rebranded the series, and I'm not sure if it looks better, but I've been quietly following this World War III stuff for a while. You probably saw it blow up on Twitter. Saw niggas making jokes, the usual stuff. And as I watched, I kind of grew increasingly annoyed, not just because a bunch of people were gonna die again for no reason, but there's a lot of propaganda surrounding the whole situation. There's patriotic propaganda that permeates the whole fiasco and how the US is gonna sell the issue. The beauty of January and February is YouTube they don't push my videos regardless, so I can be as political as I want. Let's get to it. So I'll start with the big one. What exactly happened? Qasem Soleimani, and if I butchered the name, I'm sorry. And he was assassinated by drone strike on presidential order. Is it a coincidence that this happened shortly after impeachment? No, but more on that later. And because the US just killed somebody, in order for it to be justified, the next step is to villainize the individual by any means possible. Even if it doesn't really even make much sense, it's kind of what they do. And it happens with black people, teenagers, whatever. If the government wants to justify taking someone's life, they're gonna feed you information to go, well, he deserved it, or, oh, it wasn't that bad. Cat Williams has a really good bit about this.
Our government pimps, they get on the news, they act like we ain't even over there killing real people. They don't never get on the news and say today we killed 4 men, 3 women, and 2 children. They use a word niggas can't readily identify. Today we killed a group of insurgents.
Criminals, addicts, mugshots, they're all a bunch of subtle buzzwords and euphemisms, and that's essentially what you need to understand. And this is essentially what's going on with Soleimani. Ooh, he's a criminal, he's a terrorist, he's a threat to the safety of you and your children. Ooh, don't believe the hype.
The rhythm, the rebel, all the mix, the rhythm, the rebel.
Let's get started real quick. Qasem Soleimani was not always labeled as this threat to US people. Ooh, a terrorist. No, it really wasn't. There was a time period where Qasem Soleimani was actually praised by the US. On CNN 3 years ago, they were praising this guy for being a key factor in defeating ISIS.
What do you make of the presence of Qasem Soleimani at Tikrit?
Well, Jonathan, he's been a major player in Iraq for a long time, and in fact throughout the region.
Against U.S. forces during the Iraq War, but who's now become a celebrity to many Iraqis and Iranians.
All of this feeds into the point I was making before. If the US wants to justify killing people or doing anything bad, they'll villainize them to hell and back. It doesn't matter what they did in the past, because it's in their best interest to dehumanize the man they killed. Then, no one will care. And then you just feed them patriotism. Oh, he was gonna kill you and the good US people. We, us, our. All these buzzwords that feed into the apathy towards what these people are actually doing. Yeah, Aaron Magruder talked about something very similar in regards to September 11th.
They just all became cheerleaders to America, to the administration. They had the little flags, they had all this stuff. I didn't want to see that. I was a little disappointed. I'm like, yeah, I don't care if you're a patriot. Quietly, I don't care if you're hurt. I want to know what's going on. All these dramatic displays of who's more emotional and who's more sad about what's going on. No, honey, you're an anchor. Report the news. That's your job.
Instead of buying into the fear-mongering crap they're trying to feed you, let's actually take a step back and think about all the reasons to be mad at the US. Like, I don't know, like all the sanctions they're doing in Iran, they'll probably end up in a bunch of innocent people dying. Oh, they've done it, and they'll do it again. Alright, to briefly explain what these sanctions are, like, imagine you needed medicine for your illness, and then you go to the store, and when you're about to buy what you need, the manager comes in and says, hey, don't serve him anything. And then for some reason, he calls every other pharmacy providing what you need to live and survive and goes, yeah, none of you man give him shit. And then he calls up KFC at all the food joints and says, yeah, don't feed him either. Now that's a bad example, but that's essentially what a sanction is the US coming in and saying, if you're not gonna play nice, well I guess you're not allowed to live. And because they have money and power, they can just tell people not to give you shit. Your people are gonna get sick and die, and it's because the US is greedy and power hungry. And this is patriotic propaganda. Patriotic propaganda is deluding people into believing that these people are our enemies. It's deluding people into believing that the US is this great nation that people should be proud of. They haven't done anything wrong. It's bullshit.
I remember after September 11th, all these people were like, let's go get them. Let's go fight them. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. Oh yeah, like it's up to you. Shut up.
Something more recent that's left me scratching my head is this idea of taking pride in countries and identities founded and associated with supremacy and oppression. White nationalism, British nationalism, Brexit, patriotic Americans. You know what is there really to be proud of? White supremacy, racism, segregation, colonization, imperialism, stolen land. These people are criminals. Like, it's such a basic criticism, but it's why this whole make America great again shit doesn't make any sense. When was it great? It's this fetishization with imperialism and the British Empire that doesn't make any sense. It's taking pride in supremacy and oppression. And they'll feed this to you like it's something to be proud of. Like, why does no one question why the US is allowed to determine who gets nuclear bombs when the only people with a history of using them is the US? Simple, to maintain power, and they aren't good people. And they want to tell you everyone else are the terrorists. They're the bad ones. When you're the one with all the power, calling the shots, you know, you're probably not the good guy. America has illegal military bases in Iran. Why? To spread imperialism. I know a lot of people watching don't really get, so I'll give a good example. America is like the Fire Nation in Avatar, and Iran is Ba Sing Se. You could be in Iran, and you just see a swarm of Fire Nation troops and Azula walking around like they own the place. And you want to know why Americans can afford to make memes like this? It's not because it's how we cope. It's because they know they're safe. In the words of Dave Chappelle, it's only funny because it's not happening to you. Like, just imagine if there was an Iran base in America. Are you crazy? No one would let that shit fly. But they're comfortable. So if it's not happening to them, it doesn't exist. It doesn't matter. And the beauty of patriotic propaganda is they can spin a situation where you see them as the enemy without having any idea who these people are and what's actually going on. Like, raise your hand. How many people watching knew who Soleimani was before he was assassinated and World War III started trending? Right. Basically no one. Nigga, I didn't either, to be honest. But it's easy to take advantage of and delude people who lack information. Because all you have to say is, hey, I'm on your side. I'm trying to protect your family. They're the bad guys. And that's all that's needed. Hey, I'm proud to be an American. Hey, I'm proud to be British. And suddenly there's this imaginary sense of pride in a nation founded on our fears and propaganda.
Well, we're Americans. We don't quit just because we're wrong. We just keep doing the wrong thing until it turns out right.
This is stupid. I'm going home.
What about them, Huey? Your teammates. You got them into this. Now you're turning your back on them?
You gotta make the motherfuckers pay.
Come on, Huey. I don't want to play no more neither, but we can't go out like a bunch of little bitches. Granddad?
I'm trying to save my house and my big titty porn.
It's up to you, Huey. The sooner you stop holding back and decide to play like a winner, the sooner we can all go home.
The answer to your questions is right here in the session. Our confessions is the essence of hip-hop at its bestest. Wow. Let's get all that we can so we can scram. I be on my money shit, conjuring up the plan, stick my toes.
So to close off, why is this happening? Why are you so sure it's propaganda? To answer the second question, it's because it's America. You know, like, that should just be obvious. You know, they have a history of doing this. Media control and villainizing people to get what they want. That's the war on drugs. Taking things that aren't theirs. America is stolen land. Imperialism, like, come on, bro. It's obvious. The CIA overthrew Iran's democracy in 4 days. They staged a coup and everything. This isn't hidden information, and I think in watching America's history and their actions, you understand why they do what they do way more than listening to a bunch of propaganda on a teleprompter. This was illegal. The US kicking out democratically elected officials, it isn't new. The US staging coups and spreading propaganda to get what they want isn't new. The US's presence in Iran right now is illegal. And Trump essentially tweeting threats about blowing up parks and public areas is literally terrorism. But to feed into the first question, that's why it's happening. Not only in America's attempts to spread imperialism, but Trump benefits from this because it gives goodwill of patriotic people who for whatever reason take pride in America. And my last point, why should you care? You're black. You know, these people are still victims of imperialism. Their lives and people are being used as a vessel for political leverage, power and profit. And even then, black people still intersect into that. We are victims of colonialism. We are victims of imperialism. We are victims of people using this misguided sense of patriotism in order to terrorize our people. And that's not me selling a victim mentality. That's me saying, yo, this happened to you and affects you till this day. And I think it's ridiculous that we tolerate any form of oppression just because it's not directly happening to us. And even then, it kind of is. The military-industrial complex creates a perpetual cycle of never-ending war because, you know, it's profitable. And the prison-industrial complex makes it so black people are constantly targeted and put into private prisons as slaves. And you know what they're making? The same bombs and guns that are going to be used in these wars and attacks in Iran to spread imperialism. And in that sense, we are connected. I'm not here to tell you what you can do about it. I'm not going to delude people with some armchair activism and say, yeah, that's why we gotta get up and fight the powers that be. Revolution. Calm down, Huey. You can't even drive. I'm just a guy that makes videos. But I do want to raise awareness on this issue because nations, and specifically powerful ones, get away with a lot because of this sort of thing. Brexit recently happened. This misguided notion of pride and supremacy is ridiculous, and failure to recognize that will keep people stupid. Don't listen to what these people are saying. History will tell you more than anything they'll tell you. Don't believe the hype. Also, shout out to Juni Bar. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but I'll call him Juni. They make incredible artwork and it's incredibly well researched. There's a lot of time and thought that goes into it. You know, I've been following him for a while. He's really good. Kanan and Abini. I'm not sure if I'm saying the names right again, but it's like their Afro space adventures. I was like, what the fuck? The setup for the story is Kanan and Abini's clan was wiped out, and them growing up and essentially going, yo, we might need to kill some niggas. Yo, that might be a bit too relevant. It gives me a very Afro pop art vibe. The style is unique and it works for what they're trying to do. I can tell there's a lot of passion behind the project, and the arts behind it sometimes gives their thoughts on each issue and how it connects with them. In the words of Rodney Barnes, Hollywood doesn't hire writers, they hire voices. I'm not really that interested in validation through Hollywood, so I'll say this. I think that any artist has their value placed in solely how personal what they make is. Everything you create is a reflection of your inspirations and your own reality, and that's inherently what gives it appeal and value. Easy example, but The Boondocks was based on Aaron's experience, both directly and indirectly, and I think that's what gives art its soul. I think this comic has that, and if you're interested, check it out. If not, check out Juni in general. He's an incredible artist with a really distinct style. Juni, I'm not sure if you're watching this, but you know, I've been quietly following you for a round. Keep doing what you're doing. Again, none of this stuff is sponsored. I just plug people who I think deserve it. Shoot him a commission, visit his website, do what you have to do. We pray that tomorrow will be better than today. Power to the people. Peace.